माधवा कुंज विहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा गोविंद राधे जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा जय लक्ष्मी नरसिम्हा जय जय लक्ष्मी नरसिम्हा जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल जय जय प्रभुपाद ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती नामिने श्रीवार्षभानवी देवी दैताय कृपाब्दये कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञान दायिने प्रभवे नमः माधुरी जल प्रेमाढ्य श्रीरूपानुग भक्तिध श्री गौर करुणा शक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्ते दीनतारिणे रूपानुग विरुद्धाप सिद्धांत द्वांतहारिणे नमो गौर किशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलंबर सांबोधि पादांबुजाय ते नमः नमो भक्ति विनोदाय सच्चिदानंदनामिने गौरशक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपानुगवराय ते गौराविर्भाव भूमि स्त्वं निर्देष्टा सज्जना प्रिय वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्नि गौरतुषे नमः पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपः स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यां नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकांत श्री राधाकांत नमोस्तुते जयतां सुरतौ पंगुर्मम मंदिर्मतेर्गति मत्सर्वसुपदाम्भोजौ श्री राधा मदनमो वृन्दारण्यं कल्पाद्रुमादः श्रीमद्रत्नागार सिंहासनस्थौ श्रीमद्राधांशीलगोविन्ददेवो पृष्ठालिभिः सेव्यमानो स्मरामि श्रीमान् राससारम्भी वंशीवटतरसितः कर्षन् वेणुसुनैर्गोपैर्गोपीनाथ श्रीस्तुनः तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी श्रीराधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Last time we did invocation prayer. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Today mantra 1, mantra 2. Isopanisad. What is the meaning of Isopanisad? Bringing Lord closer. The knowledge that brings one closer to Lord. That also is the meaning. Now, first 3 verses. Radhi Prabhu, when you join, just mute your phone and join. Okay, first 3 verses speaks about the law of nature. Okay, are you seeing some patch here near live? What is that patch which has suddenly come? Somebody is able to see that some patch is there? You are able to see some patch in my video?
No, Mataji.
No patch is there.
No, it is okay.
You are able to see me? Full?
Yes,
I don't
clearly.
know, I'm not able to see myself because in this some patches come. Okay, let me see. Mantra 1, mantra 2, mantra 3. We'll try to do all the 3 today. This is speaking about the law of nature. If not all 3, at least first and second. The law of nature. What is the law of nature? Everything belongs to Krishna. Ishavasya sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjita magrita kasya suddhanam. Everybody has been allotted a share. That is why one should not try to take some other's thing. Everybody has been given some share. Ishavasyam idam sarvam. Ishavasyam idam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjita magruta kasya siddhanam. Everybody has been given a quota. One should not try to take somebody else's quota. Okay, Vishwambar Prabhu, read the verse. Try to memorize all the verses as much as possible.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Isavasyam idam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagattena tyaktena bhunjita ma gridah kasya
Yatkincha jagatyam jagat.
jagattena tyaktena bhunjita
Why you are saying
ma
jagatyena taktena bhunjita? That is one line. Yatkincha jagatyam jagat. Then tena tyaktena bhunjita magrudha kasya svidhanam.
Mataji, may I repeat once more?
Yeah, repeat.
Isavasyam idam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjita ma gridah kasya svidhanam.
Okay, Krishna Priya, read.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, 1 minute. Yeah. Isavasamidam sarvam yatkinja jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhujitva magrudah kasya svidhanam.
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 Okay. Dayasagar Prabhu, read the verse
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
and continue the translation.
Ishavasyam idam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena punjitha magritha kasya svidhanam.
Very good. Okay, read. The word to word translation first. Ishaha, by the Lord. Avashyam. I will read the word to word and then you read the translation. Avasyam. Ishavasyam is Avasyam. Control. Idam. This. Sarvam. All. Yatkincha. Whatever. Jagatyam. Within the universe. So whatever we see around us is controlled by Krishna. Jagat. Tena. Tyaktena. Jagat. Whatever animate, inanimate. Tena by him. Tyaktena. Set apart. Kota. Bhunjta, you should accept. Ma, do not. Grudaha, endeavor to gain. Kasya, sweet, of anyone else. Dhanam, the wealth. Whatever has been given to you, just take that. Don't try to take others' property. Okay, read.
Everything animate or inanimate, what is within the universe, is controlled and owned by the Lord. One should therefore accept only those things necessary for himself, which are set aside as his quota, and one should not accept other things, knowing well to whom they belong. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Take pencil with you. Whenever you're sitting with the Isopanisad book, take pencil and mark. This is the first line which will be asked. Why is Vedic knowledge infallible? Now, this is a question which will be asked like this. Okay. Read.
Vedic knowledge is infallible because it comes down through the perfect disciplic succession of spiritual masters, beginning with the Lord himself. Since he spoke the first word of Vedic knowledge, the source of this knowledge is transcendental. The words spoken by the Lord are called apaurushaya, which indicates that they are not delivered by any mundane person.
Okay, why the Vedic knowledge is known as Apaurusha? Immediately, you should know. Cut answer. Tomorrow, even if I keep exam, you should be ready. Don't try, I'm going to prepare for the exam. This is a very most easiest subject is Isopanisad. I'm extending your date of exam of Nectar of Devotion. Is it okay with all of you? It will be now March 25th and 26th. Happy or unhappy? I think
Very happy, Mataji.
Mataji, please. Mataji, 25th there is a function.
What?
There is one our alumni get together is there in Pune after 30 years.
What
So
I
please
can
keep
do?
as it is. As it is.
No way. 25th and 26th. And that too evening only, na? What you're going to do in the alumni function?
It is a whole day function, Mataji.
On 25th, na?
25th, 26th.
Okay. So then we can keep it next week.
Please, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay.
Mataji,
Next week is
next
okay
week
with
I'm
all
not.
of you? No, I
Next
don't
week
know.
I'm not. I am in Ahmedabad, Mataji.
Otherwise,
going
I'm
on
not
a tour.
responsible. I'm not responsible for that. I can give for only one person concession, not for everyone.
Mataji, I'm in Ahmedabad. Hiren Prabhuji can come to our home. We'll give together.
Yes, very good. And copy also.
No.
That shoot also. I'm okay, next. Read, Prabhu.
A living being who lives in the mundane world has four defects. 1. He is certain to commit mistakes. 2. He is subject to illusion. 3. He has a propensity to cheat others. And 4. His senses are imperfect.
This also learn it. What are the four defects? Okay, next.
No one with these four imperfections can deliver perfect knowledge. The Vedas are not produced by such an imperfect creature. Vedic knowledge was originally imparted by the Lord into the heart of Brahma, the first created living being, and Brahma, in his return, disseminated this knowledge to his sons and disciples, who have handed it down through history.
Very good. Now, Sudha, continue from here.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Since the Lord is Purnam, all perfect, there is no possibility of his being subjected to the laws of material nature which he controls. However, both the living entities and inanimate objects are controlled by the laws of nature and ultimately by the Lord's potency. This Isopanisad is a part of the Yajurveda, and consequently it contains information concerning the proprietorship of all things existing within the universe. The Lord's proprietorship over everything within the universe is confirmed in the 7th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, where Para and Apara Prakriti are discussed. The elements of nature, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and ego, all belong to the Lord's inferior material energy of Para Prakriti. Whereas the living being, the organic energy, is his superior energy, Para Prakriti. Both of these prakritis or energies are emanations from the Lord, and ultimately, He is the controller of everything that exists. There is nothing in the universe that does not belong to either the para or the apara prakriti. Therefore, everything is the property of the Supreme Being. Because the Supreme Being, the absolute personality of Godhead, is the complete person. He has complete and perfect intelligence to adjust everything by means of his different potencies. The Supreme Being is often compared to a fire, and everything organic and inorganic is compared to the heat and light of that fire. Just as fire distributes energy in the form of heat and light, the Lord displays his energy in different ways. He thus remains the ultimate controller, sustainer, and dictator of everything. He is the possessor of all potencies, the knower of everything, and the benefactor of everyone. He is full of inconceivable opulence, power, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. One should therefore be intelligent enough to know that except for the Lord, no one is a proprietor of anything. One should accept only those things that are set aside by the Lord as his quota. The cow, for instance, gives milk, but she does not drink that milk. She eats grass and straw, and her milk is designated as food for human beings. Such is the arrangement of the Lord. Thus we should be satisfied with those things He has kindly set aside for us, and we should always consider to whom those things we possess actually belong. Take, for example, our dwelling, which is made of earth, wood, stone, iron, cement, and so many other material things. If we think in terms of Sri Isopanisad, we must know that we cannot produce any of this building material ourselves. We can simply bring them together and transform them into different shapes by our labor. A laborer cannot claim to be a proprietor of a thing just because he has worked hard to manufacture it. In modern society, there is always a great quarrel between the laborers and the capitalists. This quarrel has taken an international shape, and the world is in danger. Men face one another in enmity and snarl just like cats and dogs. Sri Isopanisad cannot give advice to the cats and dogs, but it can deliver the message of Godhead to humans through the bona fide acharyas, holy teachers. The human race should take the Vedic wisdom of Sri Isopanisad and not quarrel over material possessions. One must be satisfied with whatever privileges are given to him by the mercy of the Lord. There can be no peace if the communist or capitalist or any other party claims proprietorship over the resources of nature, which are entirely the property of the Lord. The capitalist cannot curb the communist simply by political maneuvering, nor can the communist defeat the capitalist simply by fighting for stolen bread. If they do not recognize the proprietorship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all the property they claim to be their own is stolen. Consequently, they will be liable to punishment by the laws of nature. Nuclear bombs are in the hands of both communists and capitalists. And if both do not recognize the proprietorship of the Supreme Lord, it is certain that these bombs will ultimately ruin both parties. Thus, in order to save themselves and bring peace to the world, both parties must follow the instructions of the Isopanisad. Human beings are not meant to quarrel like cats and dogs. They must be intelligent enough to realize the importance and aim of human life. The Vedic literature is meant for humanity and not for cats and dogs. Cats and dogs can kill other animals for food without incurring sin. But if a man kills an animal for the satisfaction of his uncontrolled taste buds, he is responsible for breaking the laws of nature. Consequently, he must be punished.
Okay.
The
So para, para, apara, Shakti has been spoken in Bhagavad Gita. We have read 7th chapter. Bhumira ponaro vayu kham mano buddhi devacha ahankar itiyam me bhinna prakriti rashtada. And immediately the next verse says aparayam itastanyam prakritim vidhi me param jivbhuta mahabahu yayadam dharyate jagat. Aparayam itastanyam. Beyond this, there is a parashakti, and that parashakti is the jiva. Why para? Because it has consciousness. By earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, buddhi, ahankara, mind, intelligence, false ego is considered as apara because it has no consciousness on its own. So here, very elaborately, Krishna says para, apara, shakti. And all the time, if you see, the comparison is given of cat and dog. One should not lead his life like cat and dog. Prabhupada could have used any other animal's name, mongoose and snake or something like that. Cat and dog refers to I and mine. I, that is mamakara, and mine, that is ahankara. Ahankara, mamakara, in this way, one has to come out of this consciousness. Okay, Anija Prabhu, read.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Human beings are not meant to quarrel like cats and dogs. Is this the para? Should I read, no?
The standard
They must
of
be
life.
intelligent enough to realize.
Oh, the standard of life.
Standard of life,
human
okay.
beings.
The standard of life for human beings cannot be applied to animals. The tiger does not eat rice and wheat or drink cow's milk because he has been given food in the shape of animal flesh. Among the many animals and birds, some are vegetarian and others are carnivorous, but none of them transgresses the laws of nature which have been ordained by the will of the Lord. Animals, birds, reptiles, and other lower life forms strictly adhere to the laws of nature. Therefore, there is no question of sin for them, nor are the Vedic instructions meant for them. Human life alone is a life of responsibility. It is wrong, however, to think that simply by becoming a vegetarian, one can avoid transgressing the laws of nature. Vegetables also have life, and while it is nature's law that one living being is meant to feed on another, for human beings, the point is to recognize the Supreme Lord.
So,
Thus,
Jivo
one should not
Jivasya
be
Jivanam.
proud of being a strict vegetarian.
1 minute. Jivo Jivasya Jivanam. That means every jiva is the food for another jiva. Whether it is plants or whether it is animals, every living entity becomes an ahara for another living entity. Okay, continue.
Thus, one should not be proud of a strict vegetarian. Animals do not have developed consciousness by which to recognize the Lord, but a human being is sufficiently intelligent to take lessons from the Vedic literature and thereby know how the laws of nature are working and derive profit out of such knowledge. If a man neglects the instructions of the Vedic literature, his life becomes very risky. A human being is therefore required to recognize the authority of the Supreme Lord and become his devotee. He must offer everything for the Lord's service and partake only the remnants of food offered to the Lord. This will enable him to discharge his duty properly. In the Bhagavad Gita 9.26, the Lord directly states that he accepts vegetarian food from the hands of a pure devotee. Therefore, a human being should not only become a strict vegetarian, but also become a devotee of the Lord, offer the Lord all his food, and then partake such prasadam or the mercy of God. Only those who act in this way can properly discharge the duties of human life. Those who do not offer their food to the Lord eat nothing but sin and subject themselves to various types of distresses which are the results of sin. Bhagavad Gita 3.13. The root of sin is deliberate disobedience of the laws of nature through disregarding the proprietorship of the Lord. Disobeying the laws of nature or the order of the Lord brings ruin to a human being. Conversely, one who is sober, who knows the laws of nature, and who is not influenced by unnecessary attachment or aversion, is sure to be recognized by the Lord and thus become eligible to go back to Godhead, back to eternal home. Hare Krishna.
So whoever knows the laws of nature, who is sober, dhira purushaha, who is not influenced by unnecessary attachment, they are eligible to go back home, back to Godhead. Now, chapter 2 or mantra 2. Kurvan eveha karmani jiji vishet chatam samaha evam tvainanyate tosti na karma lipyate nare. Kurvan eveha karmani jiji vishet chatam samaha evam tvainanyate tosti na karma lipyate nare. Kurvan, doing continuously. Kurvan eveha karmani. Eveha karmani. In this way, he is performing his work. Jiji vishet chatam samaha. If he is doing like this, considering Krishna, he knows that Krishna is the owner of everything. Whatever has been given to me, I'll just stick to that. I will not be taking another's share. If he does like this work, he can continue. For hundreds of years, he can continue. Why? Na anyataha iha asti na karma lipyate nare. He is not bound in this material world by the laws of nature. There is no alternative to this way for man. That means one may aspire to live for hundreds of years if he continuously goes on working in that way. For sort of work, that sort of work will not bind him because he knows everything belongs to Krishna. Centralizing Krishna, keeping Krishna in the center, performing all the activities. If a person does this, then there is no problem at all. Hundreds of years, that is why Mama Janmani Ishware Bhavtad Bhaktir Ayatukitvai. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Mama Janmani, give me hundreds and thousands of births. If a person understands this much, that everything belongs to Krishna, whatever Krishna gives to me, let me take it, let me not think of others' property. Okay. Well, Vaishnava Gaur Prabhu, read the verse. Read the
Yes,
verse.
Mate. Hare Krishna.
Then Maya, read the verse.
Isho 2. Kurvan evah karmani jiji vishet chatam samha evam tvai nanyatetosti na karma lipyate nare.
Okay, Maya, read the verse. Then Parthabandhu, read the verse. Maya Mataji, unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Kurvan eveha karmani jiji vishesha chetam sama.
Jiji vishet chatam.
Jiji vishesha chatam sama. Evam tvayi nanyate tosti na karma lipyate nare.
Parthabandhu Prabhu.
Kurvan eveha karmani jiji vishyatam sama evam tvai nanyate tosti na karma lipyate nare.
Okay, Narayan, read. Narayan, read the verse. And Jhumur will read the verse.
Kurvan eveha karmani jiji vishesha chatam samaha evam tvai nanyate tosti na karma lipyate nare.
Na, not na.
Na karma lipyate nare.
Evam tvai nanyate tosti.
Evam tvai nanyate tosti न कर्म लिप्यते नरे
न
न कर्म लिप्यते नरे.
न कर्म लिप्यते नरे.
I
Mataji,
don't know
can I
what you are
read?
doing today, na karma or na karma. Today I think you are more inclined to do ah. I think my laddus are going to reach you tomorrow. Ah, okay.
Can I read? Mataji?
Read.
कुर्वन्नेवेह कर्माणि जिजी विशेषतं समा एवं त्वयि नान्यथेतोऽस्ति न कर्म लिप्यते नरे.
Very good. Read the translation, Prophet.
Translation: one may aspire to live for hundreds of years if he continuously goes on working in that way. For that sort of work will not bind him to the law of karma. There is no alternative to this way for man. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. No one wants to die. No one wants to die. Everyone wants to live as
Why
long
two
as he
times
can.
you chanted this? No one wants to die. That is true.
No,
Prabhupada starts.
making some noise over here.
Okay.
No one wants to die. Everyone wants to live as long as he can drag on. This tendency is visible not only individually but also collectively in the community of society, society and nation. There is a hard struggle for life by all kinds of living entities, and the Vedas say that this is quite natural. The living being is eternal by nature, but due to his bondage in material existence, he has to change his body over and over. This process is called transmigration of the soul or karma bandhana, bondage by one's work. The living entity has to work for his livelihood because that is the law of material nature. And if he does not act according to his prescribed duties, he transgresses the law of nature and binds himself more and more to the cycle of birth and death in the many species of life. Other life forms are also subject to the cycle of birth and death, but when the living entity attains a human life, he gets a chance to get free from the chains of karma.
Now what are karmas? How many types of karma? Sakarma, vikarma, akarma. That is just not karma, it is sakarma. Sakarma, vikarma, akarma. Sometimes sakarma is also known as karma. With whatever has been prescribed in the Vedas is known as sakarma or karma. Okay. Please.
Karma, akarma, and vikarma are clearly described in the Bhagavad Gita. Actions that are performed in terms of one's prescribed duties, as mentioned in the revealed scriptures, are called karma. Actions that free one from the cycle of birth and death are called akarma. And the actions that are performed through the misuse of one's freedom and that direct one to the lower life forms are called vikarma. Of these three types of action, that which frees one from the bondage to the karma is preferred by intelligent men. Ordinary men wish to perform good work in order to be recognized and achieve some higher status of life in this world or in heaven. But more advanced men want to be free altogether from the actions and reactions of work. Intelligent men well know that both good and bad work equally bind one to the material miseries. Consequently, they seek that work which will free them from the reactions of both good and bad work. Such liberating work is described here in the pages of Sri Isopanisad. The instructions of Sri Isopanisad are more elaborately explained in the Bhagavad Gita, sometimes called the Gitopanishad, the cream of all Upanishads. In the Bhagavad Gita 3.9 to 16, the personality of Godhead says that one cannot attain the state of Naishkarmya or Akarma without executing the prescribed duties mentioned in the Vedic literature. This literature can regulate the working energy of a human being in such a way that he can gradually realize the authority of the Supreme Being. When he realizes the authority of the personality of Godhead, Vasudev or Krishna, it is to be understood that he has attained the stage of positive knowledge. In this purified stage, the modes of nature, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance, cannot act, and he is able to work on the basis of Naishkarmya. Such work does not bind one to the cycle of birth and death.
Okay. In Bhagavad Gita 4th chapter, you'll find this. Karmano yapi bodhavyam, bodhavyam chak karmanaha, karmanascha bodhavyam, gahana karmano tatihi. What is karma, what is sakarma, what is vikarma, what is akarma, what has been forbidden, what is inaction, what is action, everything has been given. In 3rd chapter, if you find from 9 to 16, what has been given 9 to 16, what is the regulated type of work, and very clearly 9th verse, if you see what has been given, Yagyathat karma nitra lokoyam karma bandhana tadartham karma kaunteyam sasanga samacharaha. From there it starts. How this yagya has been given, and everybody has to do the yagya to have parasparam bhavam with the devatas, and if we don't do that, then we are actually stenaha yobhukte stena eva saha. So this is a section where Krishna says, whatever you're doing, do it as a sacrifice. So Nishkama Karma Yoga, Naishkarimyam, on the basis of Naishkarimyam. But again, only Naishkarimyam, Achyuta Bhava Varjitam. What is the use? If Naishkarimyam means, if Nishkama Karma is performed, but there is no Achyuta Bhava, Naishkarimyam api Achyuta Bhava Varjitam, Nashobate Jnanam Alam Niranjanam. Bhagavatam says about it. There is no Nashobate. There is nothing achieved. If you are doing a Nishkarma, very good Nishkarma or Nishkama Karma Yoga, Nishkama Karma, we are not talking about yoga now, we are Nishkama Karma, you are not interested in the results, but what is the use if you don't have Achyuta Bhava? Okay, Neeraj Prabhu, read from here.
Actually, no one has to do anything more than render devotional service to the Lord. However, in the lower stages of life, one cannot immediately adopt the activities of devotional service, nor can one completely stop fruitive work. A conditioned soul is accustomed to working for sense gratification, for his own selfish interest, immediate or extended. An ordinary man works for his own sense enjoyment, and when this principle of sense enjoyment is extended to include his society, nation, or humanity in general, it assumes various attractive names such as altruism, socialism, communism, nationalism, and humanitarianism. These isms are certainly very attractive forms of karma bandhana, karmic bondage. But the Vedic instructions of Sri Isopanisad is that if one actually wants to live for any of the above isms, he should make them God-centered. There is no harm in becoming a family man or an altruist, a socialist, a communist, a nationalist, or a humanitarian, provided that one executes his activities in relation with Ishavasya, the God-centered conception. In the Bhagavad Gita 2.40, Lord Krishna states that God-centered activities are so valuable that just a few of them can save a person from the greatest danger. The greatest danger of life.
Even if you have done small thing, it will remove you from the greatest fear.
The greatest danger of life is the danger of gliding down again into the evolutionary cycle of birth and death among the 8.4 million species. If somehow or other a man misses the spiritual opportunity afforded by his human form of life and falls down again into the evolutionary cycle, he must be considered most unfortunate. Due to his defective senses, a foolish man cannot see that this is happening. Consequently, Sri Isopanisad advises us to exert our energy in the spirit of Ishavasya. Being so engaged, we may wish to live for many, many years. Otherwise, a long life in itself has no value. Our tree lives for hundreds and hundreds of years, but there is no point in living a long time like trees, or breathing like bellows, or begetting children like hogs and dogs, or eating like camels. A humble, God-centered life is more valuable than a colossal hoax of a life dedicated to godless altruism or socialism. When altruistic, should I continue, Mataji? When altruistic activities are executed in the spirit of Sri Isopanisad, they become a form of karma yoga. Such activities are recommended in the Bhagavad Gita 18.5 to 18.9, for they guarantee their executor protection from the danger of sliding down into the evolutionary process of birth and death. Even though such God-centered activities may be half-finished, they are still good for the executor because they will guarantee him a human form in his next birth. In this way, one can have another chance to improve his position on the path of liberation. How can one execute God-centered activities is elaborately explained in the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu by Sri Rupa Goswami. We have rendered this book into English as the Nectar of Devotion, for which we will be giving exam shortly. We recommend this valuable book to all who are interested in performing their activities in the spirit of Sri Isopanisad.
You all are prepared for exam? I don't mind 11th and 12th. You all are prepared, wonderful students.
Hari, Hari.
We'll write 10.
Huh?
Yes, Mataji, 10th and 11th.
You're prepared, really? All of you are prepared? Who is not prepared? Just raise your hand.
I am not prepared, Mataji.
Mataji,
I am also not prepared.
We are not prepared, Mataji, but we are in process of preparing it. Like
we are not prepared. I am not prepared, at least. I will have to prepare. When you give the date, then I will start preparing.
Oh. Okay, we'll keep it after. Peacefully we'll do. Let all the sections over. 1 week Isopanisad and 1 week this. 1 week Nectar of Devotion.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Good, thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Start studying from
Hare
now.
Krishna.
After 26th, what is the date I told? 25th, 26th. After that we'll do. Okay?
Okay, Mataji, that would be great.
Mantra 3, law of nature. What is that law of nature? Whoever is a killer of the soul. Who is the killer of the soul? Who is the killer of the soul? Who doesn't drink the nectar of Krishna? Vina Puman Virajyete Vina Pashognath. Whoever is not interested in Krishna Katha, he is known as killer of the soul. And who doesn't consider Krishna as the authority, he is the killer of the soul. Now, whoever he may be, Asuryanam te loka andhena tamasavataha tamse pretya vigachanti vede chatmano janah. Again. Asuryanam te loka andhena tamasavataha tamse pretya vigachanti eke chatmano janah. So where they will enter? They will enter in the world of faithless. They will enter the world of darkness and ignorance. They will enter, they will get that type of planets because they are not interested in Krishna Katha. So where they will enter? They will enter the planet of darkness, ignorance, faithless. That has been given. So law of nature speaks about it. The law is except Krishna. Ishavasamidam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagatena tektena bhunjita magudakasya suntanam. Just take whatever has been given to you, whatever capacity a person has, just serve Krishna. If we do that, if we serve Krishna in this way, there is no harm in living hundreds of years. But what is the use of living hundreds of years if we are not serving Krishna? So second verse says, Akurvan neve karmani jiji vishechatam samahai. Evam tvainanate tosina karma lipyatere. You will not be bound by any karma. And if a person doesn't do that, Asuryanamate lokandhena tamasavatatanste prityavi gachanti ke chatmano janaha. He has to enter faithless, the planets where faithless people are there. Planets where tamoguna people are there, tamas and ignorance. Okay, Gadi Prabhu, read the verse.
Mataji, I'm just reaching home another 5 minutes.
Okay. Then who will read? Hansubi Prabhu, read the verse.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Mantra 3. Asurya namate loka andhe natamasa beta tamsate pratyag vichanti.
Tamste pratyabhigachanti.
Tamste pratyabhigachanti. Ye ke chatpano jana.
Janaha.
Janaha.
Okay.
Ke chatpano
Neeraj
jana.
Prabhuji, you read. Neeraj Prabhu, read the words.
Mataji, yes, Mataji. Asurya nama te loka.
Nama, where is Nama? Asurya Nama te loka.
Asurya nama te loka. Andhena tamasar pratraha.
Andhena tamasavృతః.
Andhena tamasavrataha. Tamste pretyabhigachanti. Yeke chatmano janaha. Janaha. Yeke chatmano janaha.
Okay, Parth Bandhu Prabhu, you read. Then continue the translation. Parth Bandhu. Unmute yourself.
Surya Nama. Yes, yes, Mataji.
I think your connectivity is not proper.
Surya Nama Teloka. Now, Mataji.
Read.
Surya Nama Teloka.
Read, Parth.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, read.
Yes. Surya Nama Teloka. Andhena tamasavratah. Tamaste pretaya vigachanti. Tamste pretaya vigachanti. Yeke chatma anojanaha.
Janaha. Read translation. Word to word is, let me read. Asuryaha meant for the Asuras, Nama famous by they, those, Lokaha planets, Andhena by ignorance, Tamasaha by darkness, Avrtaha covered, Tan, those planets, they Prityaha after death, Abhigachanti, they enter into, Ye anyone, Ke everyone, Cha and Atmaha, Hanaha, the killer of the soul, Janaha persons, anyone, irrespective of whatever position he may be, if he is not accepting Ishavasimdam Sarvam, then he has to enter the planets of faithless, full of darkness and ignorance. Okay, read one paragraph, then Hansrupi Prabhu will read. Read one paragraph only.
Forward, human life is distinguished from animal life due to its heavy responsibility. Those who are cognizant of these responsibilities and who work in that spirit are called suras, godly persons. And those who are neglectful of these responsibilities or who have no information of them are called asuras, demons. Throughout the universe, there are only these two types of human beings. In the Rig Veda, it is stated that the Suras always aim at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord Vishnu and act accordingly. Their ways are illuminated as the path of the sun. Intelligent human beings must always remember that the soul obtains a human form after an evolution of many millions of years in the cycle of transmigration. The material world is sometimes compared to an ocean.
Wait.
And the human body is...
Second paragraph, let Hansrupi Prabhu read. Your voice is not coming proper. Okay. Hansrupi Prabhu, you read from the second paragraph.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Intelligent human beings must always remember that this particular form of body is obtained after an evolution of many millions of years of transmigration of the soul. This material world is sometimes compared with an ocean, and this human body is compared with a solid boat designed to cross over the ocean. The Vedic scriptures and the acharyas or saintly teachers are compared with the expert boatmen, and the facilities of a human body are compared with favorable breezes. which can help the boat smoothly ply to the desired destination. If with all these facilities a person does not fully utilize his human life for self-realization, such an asura must be considered Atmahana, a killer of soul. The killer of the soul is destined to enter into the darkest region of ignorance, to suffer perpetually. And here is warning by Isopanisad in clear terms.
Huh.
Will I continue?
Yeah, just finish it off that paragraph.
Yeah. There are swine, dogs, camels, asses, etc., whose economic necessities are just as important as ours.
Wait. So here very clearly it has been said human body is compared to a solid boat. So it is said this human life is the most rarest thing. And what are we doing? We are wasting our resources, whatever we have got to cross this ocean of birth and death. And if he's not utilizing this birth for self-realization, then he's kripanaha. If you have studied in Bhagavad Gita, what he has studied, karpanya dosho pahtas svabhava pruchhami tvam dharma sammodha chetaha yashriyasya dishtam bhuvi tanme shishyasteham shadi mam tvam prapannam. I have completely surrendered to you in that. If you see in the second paragraph, Brahataranyaka Upanishad, who is a kripanaha? A miser. Yova etad aksharam gargi avidittvasman na preti sakripanaha. He is not utilizing, he is just living like a cat and a dog. He is not interested into self-realization. Then what happens? He has just wasted his human life. Then simply we teach our children, work hard, work hard. Actually, you should teach hardly work. Not work hard so much. We are not donkeys here. We are human. Human life is meant for tapasya. Human life is meant to find the way out to get out of this world, not be interested in just eating, mating, sleeping, and defending. No. We are meant to ask about dharma. What is my duty? Now we work so hard, isn't it? Hardly we get time to eat also. Leave aside spiritual activity. We don't get time to do even a material activity. Okay. Vandana Mataji, read the next paragraph. Then Jumur will read the other next.
Hare Krishna. There are swines, dogs, camels, asses, etc., whose economical necessities are just as important to them as ours are to us. But the economical problems of these animals are solved only under nasty and unpleasant conditions. The human being is given all facilities for a comfortable life by the law of nature, because the human form of life is more important and valuable than animal life. Why is man given a better life than that of a swine and other animals? Why is a highly placed government servant given better facilities than those of an ordinary clerk? The answer is that a highly placed officer has to discharge duties of a higher nature. Similarly, the duties human being has to perform are higher than those of animals, who are always engaged in simply feeding their hungry stomach. Yet the modern soul-killing civilization has only increased the problem of hunger, of the hungry stomach. When we approach a polished animal in the form of a modern civilized man and ask him to take interest in self-realization, he will say that he simply wants to work to satisfy his stomach and that there is no need of self-realization for a hungry man. The laws of nature are so cruel, however, that despite this denunciation of need of self-realization and his eagerness to work hard to fill his stomach, he is always threatened by unemployment.
Yes. So what is there? Always there's a fear. Oh, my boss will remove me. What will I going to do? Oh, I'll die. How am I going to take care of my family? Always this anxiety. And this anxiety makes us work hard because we have yet not understood the mercy of Krishna. We don't have faith. We don't have faith. That is why we are working very hard. We think if I don't work hard, what will happen? I've taken so much of loan. Who is going to fit the loan? Already we drown ourselves. We are drowning. On top of that, we take so much of loan just a show off, especially in Bombay. Everybody has so much of loan. And in this way, we bury ourselves, we drown more and more. Okay, Jumur, read.
We are given this human form of life not to work hard like asses, swine, and dogs,
Prabhupada also says this. Tejas.
but to attain the highest perfection of life. If we do not care for self realization, the laws of nature force us to work very hard, even though we may not want to do so. Human beings in this age have been forced to work hard like the asses and bullocks that pull carts. Some of the regions where the asuras are sent to work are revealed in this verse of Sri Isopanisad. If a man fails to discharge his duties as a human being, he is forced to transmigrate to the Asura planets and take birth in degraded species of life to work hard in ignorance and darkness.
So if you are so much interested in working hard, then where will you be pushed? In the planets of Asuras, where there is no faith for God, where there is only ignorance, where there is only darkness. Okay, Vaishnav Gaur Prabhu, read from here.
Hare Krishna Mataji. In the Bhagavad Gita 6.41 to 43, it is stated that a man who enters upon the path of self-realization but does not complete the process, despite having sincerely tried to realize his relationship with God, is given a chance to appear in a family of Shuchi or Shrimata. The word Shuchi indicates a spiritually advanced Brahmana, and Shrimat indicates a Vaishya, a member of the mercantile community. So the person who fails to achieve self-realization is given a better chance in his next life due to his sincere efforts in this life. If even a fallen candidate is given a chance to take birth in a respectable and noble family, one can hardly imagine the status of one who has achieved success. By simply attempting to realize God, one is guaranteed birth in a wealthy or aristocratic family. But those who do not even make an attempt, who want to be covered by illusion, who are too materialistic and too attached to material enjoyment, must enter into the darkest regions of hell, as confirmed throughout the Vedic literature. Such materialistic asuras sometimes make a show of religion, but their ultimate aim is material prosperity. The Bhagavad Gita 16.17 and 18 rebukes such men by calling them Atam Sambhavita, meaning that they are considered great only on the strength of deception and are empowered by the boasts of the ignorant and by their own material wealth. Such asuras, devoid of self-realization and knowledge of Ishavasya, the Lord's universal proprietorship, are certain to enter into the darkest regions. The conclusion is that as human beings, we are meant not only simply for solving economic problems or on a tottering platform, but for solving all the problems of the material life into which we have been placed by the laws of nature. Hare Krishna.
Very good. So Krishna very clearly says here that the purpose Prabhupada writes, the human being is not meant simply to solve economic problems. It is not for that. We have to solve the problem of material life. We are just placed in this law of nature. We have to come out of it. Okay, all the three verses, Narayana will chant, then Gadi Prabhu will chant, Maya Mataji will chant, all the three verses. Yes, Narayana will chant all the three verses. Then
Mataji, from the invocation onwards?
Yes, all. Yeah, 4 verses. You have to learn by heart. Friday, I'm going to ask by heart all these 3 verses.
Okay.
For everyone, this is a test.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ईशावास्यमिदं सर्वं यत्किञ्च जगत्यां जगत् तेन त्यक्तेन भुञ्जीता मा गृढः कस्य स्विद्धनम् कुर्वन्नेवेह कर्माणि जिजीविषेच्छतं समा एवं त्वयि नान्यथेतोऽस्ति न कर्म लिप्यते नरे असुर्यानामते लोका अन्धेन तमसावृताः तांस्ते प्रेत्याभिगच्छन्ति ये के चात्महनो जनाः.
Very good. Kadi Prabhu.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी, दंडवत प्रणाम. ओम पूर्णमादाय पूर्णम इदम
Om Purnamadha.
ओम पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदम पूर्णमिदम पूर्णात् पूर्णम उदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णम इवावशिष्यते
Evavashishyate.
इवावशिष्यते
Evavashishyate.
इवावशिष्यते
I didn't say
इवावशिष्यते.
A.
अच्छा, एवावशिष्यते.
Udachyate. If you can make this sound. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Next.
Then ईशावास्यम इदं सर्वं यत्किंच जगत्यां जगत् तेन त्यक्तेन भुंजिता मा गृढः कस्य
Ma Grudaha. Grudaha.
मा गृढः.
Grudaha. No, Gruda is not there. Grudaha. The it is.
Okay.
Not the.
मा गृढः कस्य स्विधनम.
Svidhanam.
Okay.
Even Narayana told Grudaha. It is not Grudaha. Grudaha. Okay.
Okay. Then कुर्वन् एवः कर्माणि जिजीविषेक चातं समः
Chatam.
चातं. Okay. चातं समः एवं त्वयि नान्यथेतो. माताजी, what is
Nanyathethosti.
नान्यथेतो. Okay. नान्यथेतोस्ति ना कर्म लिप्यते नरः.
Lipyate nare.
लिप्यते नरे. Okay. Third. असूर्या नाम ते लोका
Nama
अंधे.
illa. Nama is not there. Illa.
नाम. अच्छा. असूर्य नाम ते लोका. Yes, it's नाम. It is not नाम. अंधेन तमसावृतः तामसावृताः तांस्ते प्रेत्याभिगच्छन्ति एके चात्मा हनो जनाः.
Okay. Maya Mataji. Then be prepared. Neeraj Prabhu, then Daya Sagar Prabhu, Hans Rupi Prabhu, and Vaishnav Gaur Prabhu. Then we'll end the class. Okay. Maya Mataji. All 4 verses. Unmute yourself. Unmute. Om Purnamada. Unmute.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Read.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Evavashishyate. Mantra 1. Ishavasyamidam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjita ma vridha kasya svidhanam. Mantra 2. कुर्वन् एवेह कर्माणि जिजीविषेशचत्समा एवं त्वयि जिजीविषेशच्छतं समा एवं जिजीविषेच्छतं समा एवं त्वयि नान्यथेतोऽस्ति न कर्म लिप्यते नरे
Acha, samaha. When MAH comes, smaha.
समाः जिजी विशेषतं समाः एवं त्वयि नान्यथेतोऽस्ति न कर्म लिप्यते नरे.
Very good.
Mantra.
Asuryanamate loka.
Asuryanamate loka.
Asura is there. Asurya. Simple. Asurya. It is not.
Asuryanamate loka andhena tamasa vrita tamaste pratyabhigachanti.
Tamste. Tamas is not there.
Tamste pratyabhigachanti yeke chatma manojanaha.
Tamste pretyabhigachanti.
Tamste pratyabhigachanti.
Yeke chatmano janaha.
Eke chatma manojanaha.
Okay. Next, who is going to tell? Neeraj Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji, I am just going to that shloka.
Purnamada. Vandana will scold you now.
She's always doing the same thing, Mataji. She just got caught on the camera.
Yeah.
Oh. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate.
Wonderful. Next.
Hare Krishna. First, Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam
Yat Kin Chaya
Jagatyam
Jagat.
Hare Bol, Ashok Prabhu ki jai ho.
Vandana Prabhu, Neeraj Prabhu thought I am resounding again her. Okay, Neeraj.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Ashok Prabhu, for prompting me. So, Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam Yat Kinchana Jagatam Jagat Tena Tyaktena Bhunjita Magratha Kasya Svidandhanam
Tena Tyaktena Bhunjita Tena
Tyaktena Bhunjita Magratha Kasya Svidhanam.
Magrudha. Why you do like this? Magrudha Kasya Svidhanam.
Magrudha
Kasya
Magrudha Kasya Svidhanam. Svidhanam.
Okay.
Kurvaneva karmani jiji vishrak chatmana samaha evam.
Wait.
Kurvaneva karmani.
Let Vandana read these words.
Mataji, this is the very first time Neeraj Prabhu has any challenge. Otherwise, he has been very smooth throughout, always.
Nahi, Mataji. Nahi, Prabhuji, aisa nahi hai. I have been facing a lot of challenges over here.
Read, Prabhu.
Hari Bol.
Vandana, read this. Kurvan eva. Yeah.
Kurvan eva karmani jijivis chatam samaha
Jiji vishesh chatam samaha.
Jiji vishesh chatam samaha evam tvaya nanyathosti nakar me lipate nare.
Na is not there. Na karma lipyate.
Na karma lipate nare. Lipyate nare.
Next.
Yes, ma'am.
Asurya namate loka.
Asurya namate loka. Antena tamasa avrita tamate
pretyabhigachanti.
Tamase avritya.
Not there.
Tamste avritaha.
Tamste pretyabhigachanti.
Tamste pretyabhigachanti yekena chatmanaho janaha. Janaha.
Okay, Vaishnav Gaur Prabhu, Parthavan. Oh, who is this? Vaishnav Gaur Prabhu.
माता जी पहले मैं पढ़ता हूँ, मेरा डेटा खत्म होने वाला है.
हाँ हाँ बोलो. Then Daya Sagar Prabhu and Hansravi Prabhu.
ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते.
आदाय पूर्णमादाय आदाय नहीं आदाय.
पूर्णम आदाय आदाय पूर्णम अवशिष्यते पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते.
पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते
पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. Okay. First verse. ईशावास्यमिदं सर्वं यत्किंच जगत्यां जगत् तेन तक्तेन भुञ्जीता मा गृधः कश्चिद्धनम्.
Okay. Asuryanam.
Second verse is kurvatre पूर्णमेवेह कर्माणि जिजीविषेत समः
शतं समः
जिजीविषेत शतं समः एवं त्वयि नान्यतस्ति अस्ति नान्यथेतोस्ति न कर्म लिप्यते नरे. Third is Asurya namte loka annena tamsa vrita.
Andhena.
Andhen, okay. Andhen is andhen, not anneen. Andhen tamsa vrita.
Andhen is not andhena.
Andhena. Andhena tamsa vritaha. Tamasaha vrita. Tamste pret vigachanti ye ke chatmanaho janaha.
Okay, Daya Sagar Prabhu read. Rafat.
Om Purnam Idam Purnam Idam.
Purnamidam, Purnamadha. Purnamidam. Everything Purnamidam, how that is also na?
Purnam Idam Purnam Udachyate. Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnam Eva Vashishyate.
Very good. Next.
Ishavasyam Idam Sarvam Yatkinchak Jagatvam Jagat Enatyaptena Punjitha Makudhakasya Sittanam.
Very good. Next.
Kurvam evetha karmani jijivishe chatam samaha evam tvai nanyatitosti na karma lipyate nare.
Wonderful. Next.
Asuryanama te loka andhena tamasavritaha tanste pratya vikachanti yeke chatma hano janaha.
Very nice. If you had got Indian tongue, na, you would have surpassed all the scholars. Even now you are chanting very nice, wonderful. Okay, next.
Mataji, I will also try to read in the shlokas.
Do one thing, you read first and then Hansruti Prabhu.
Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Mudachyate.
What else? Purnam like this.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamaduchyate. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Ishavasya sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjitha magratha kasya svidhanam kurvaneveha karmani jiji vichantam samaha evam tvai nanyatetosti ना कर्म लिप्यते नरे सूर्यानाम ते लोका अंधेन तमसावृताः तमसावृताः तांस्ते प्रेत्याभिगच्छन्ति ये केचात्महनो जनाः.
Wonderful. Hansupi Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Mantra 1. Ishavasya sarva yatkin chakta jagat tena taktena bhujjinta magruda kasya saddhanam kurvanneva karmani jiji vichenta sama evam sai
Jiji vichecham chatam
jiji se chatam sama
Jiji vichecham samaha.
Jiji vichecham chatam sama.
Jiji vichech.
Jiji viche chatam sama. Chatam sama. Evam tainane thoste na karma
evam tvainanyathe tosti. You read na, आराम से read ना. Evam tvainanyathe tosti.
Evam tvainane tosti.
The tosti.
The nanya the tosti na karma lipate nare.
Lipate, where it is? Lipyate.
Lipate nare.
Lipyate.
Lipyate nare. Lipyate nare. Asurya namate loka andena tamsavrita samste pretak gachanti gachanti yeke chatma hano janaha.
Very good. Anybody else want to try out? No one. Very good. Nainu Manjari wants to try out. Where is Nainu? Nainu sleeping? Hari bol. What do you want to chant? What do you want to chant?
Om Purnamidam Purnamadah Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate.
Ishavas
Ramachandraya Chanakaraja Manoharaya Mamaka Pishtadaya Daitya Mangaram Koshandeshaya Mandahasana Koshanaya Vavadividaya Mangaram Altarathna Kundalaya Tulsi Vanabalikaya Jalata Sadisha Deva Charu Mangalam Lalitarathna Kundalaya Tulsi Vanabalika Charaka Sadisha Devaya Charu Mangalam Ramachandraya Janakaraja Jamana Haraya Mamaka Tadaya Daita Mangalam Panchakalpatruvesh Itakutupivacha Atitayam Paranipi Vaisnavetim.
Hari bol. Ramachandraya Mangalam. Hari bol. Now you learn second verse also. Isopanisad. ठीक है?